So I'm answering another viewer question today. I got a person who wants to shoot in some low light conditions. They only have a small budget and they might want to get 2 cameras. Stay right there. You're going to want to see this. Hi, I'm Mike Turner, your friendly filmmaker, and today I'm answering viewer questions. And what we're going to answer is a question by hey, At least that's his YouTube name. His real name is Justin. He also reached out to me on Facebook. He provided a ton of information about a situation that he's encountering and what the best camera solution would be. I'm just going to paraphrase it because it's pretty lengthy. He's very, very specific, which is great. He wants a camera that's in the $300 to $500 range. He doesn't care too much about audio. It's not really all that important. He wants something that can shoot high speed, so it has to be at least 1080p, 60 frames per second. Also, this camera is going to be used in a very, very low light setting. So he's a drummer, and in his studio, he's going to be playing the drums. He's going to have 2 LED lights that he's using to illuminate the drum and himself, and then the whole background is totally dark, totally black. He also mentions that he wants long battery life and a long record time of 45 minutes at the least, but most likely an hour. And then he also wants good battery life because he wants the battery to last that long as well. So those are like kind of the main requirements that I was pulling from what he was saying. He also would like some of the manual controls, you know, being able to control your white balance, your ISO, and all that type of stuff. I think that about covers it. Those are the main things. So currently he's shooting with the Canon G7X, and I apologize if you can hear the lawnmower behind me. Not much I can do. Oh God, that's annoying. As soon as you come out here to record a video, it's freaking long. Excuse me. As soon as you come out here to record a video, the lawnmower starts mowing. Whatever. So currently he has a G7X Mark I and a SJ4000 Action Cam, and the Action Cam broke. And so now he's just thinking, let me get something different. He gave me a list of different cameras that he's thinking about, and let's talk about that list, because in talking about that list, I'm pretty much going to answer your question. So let's see here, where was that? Let's see. He's talking about the, he listed the GoPro Hero 5 Black, the Yeelight, the Ye4K, and the SJ7 Star. These are all action cams. I would say all those action cams, just take them and throw them right the hell out, because none of those are really going to do well in low light. I have a Ye4K. I've used the GoPro Hero. I don't remember if it was a 5 Black, but it's decent, and the 4K is certainly decent in low light, but they're not really good. So I would just totally rule those out. You're not going to get a great picture from those and any other action cam. The sensors are just too small. Forget it. Now I'm going to skip some of the cameras on your list and move down to the Panasonic Lumix LX10 and the Panasonic Lumix G7. Both of those have record limits of 30 minutes, so that's going to be a problem for you. The G7 is an excellent value camera, but you don't have the record length that you're looking for. So I would just rule it out. Just rule it out, because it's not going to work. Same thing with the Nikon D3200. Rule it out. I'm going to skip down a little bit and go to your Canon Vixia R72 camcorder. So now with the camcorder, you're going to get the unlimited record time. The battery life is probably going to be just what you need. I think the stock battery on that camcorder is about 1.5 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to give you that. But what you're going to be missing is really a decent sensor size. The sensor in the R7 II, I think, is like a fifth of an inch. That's really small. And in that low light scenario that you're painting, I don't think it's going to do very well. So I would kind of scratch that. It might work though. I mean, if you could find one and it's cheap and you just want to try it out, and maybe you can buy it and return it type of thing, maybe try it out. It might work for you. I know that one also shoots 60 frames per second, so that might work for you. You might want to check it out, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Staying with the camcorders that you mentioned, you also have a Sony Handycam CX405, and again, that's a 5-inch sensor. It is inexpensive. It is in your price range of what I say, 300 to 500. It's in that price range, especially if you get it used. You probably get those really cheap. But the sensor is small, so I just wonder how good it's going to really do in low light for you. I would probably stay away from that one as well. You also mentioned the Sony AX33, which is a 4K camera, which is obviously going to give you a better picture than the two previous cameras I mentioned. It has a 1/2-inch sensor. It also shoots 4K. It's definitely going to shoot the 60 frames per second and 1080 that you're looking for. It checks all the boxes. The problem with that one is it's what is it? I think it's $850 new. Yeah, it's $850 new, which means you could probably get it maybe for $700, $650 if you're lucky, maybe used. So it's over your budget. You were looking at getting two maybe. I think that camera would do well. I just don't think it's in your budget. But, you know, you can maybe buy it. I mean, try it out. That might work for you. I think that's a good option because you're getting 4K in there. You're getting image stabilization in there, which I know you don't need, but you never know. You may need it in the future. I can't believe this lawnmower is like right on my ass. God, I don't know if you can hear it. I'm just gonna keep talking. Hopefully you can't hear that I have on a mic. Whatever. Just annoying. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I'm pissed off right now, man. So this happens all the time. I come out here, someone got a lawnmower, someone got a weed whacker, someone's screaming, someone's busting shots in the air with the. I live in a nice neighborhood, but you know they hunt deer. I don't know what they do. Sometimes they're just shooting out here. Anyway, all right. So let's just talk about the Canon EOS M50 and the SL2. Both of these cameras are good. They're going to help you with the low light problem that you're going to be having. They're going to shoot 60 frames per second. The problem with these cameras is they have 30-minute record limits, just like the Panasonics we were talking about earlier. That's going to be a problem for you. So I almost got to scratch those off the list. I mean, you might as well forget it because you can't shoot for 45 minutes straight. So take those off. Let's talk about the older Canon Rebel series. So you got a T4i listed, you got a T5i, and a T6. Let's talk about those three. So here's the interesting thing, at least that I know with the T4i. And you didn't list it here. You didn't list a T3i, but I would also say a T3i. The T3i and the T4i, I know you can use Magic Lantern with those. And if you're not familiar with what Magic Lantern is, it's a firmware that you can install on your Canon camera. Not all of them, just some of them, that will give you some advanced features. And one of the main things that's going to help you is it has an automatic restart function. So once you reach that 30-minute length, it restarts the camera for you just like that. And you don't lose anything. You don't lose a frame, you don't lose a second. At least in my experience, you don't lose anything. It's totally seamless, totally smooth. Sorry for the damn lawnmower right on my ass. Really annoying, really loud. It is what it is. Yeah. Okay, so I think a T4i would be a good option. You might even go down to a T3i because the image quality is basically the same and save some money. And I think you could probably get that used for like under $400. So that's right in your budget. So I would probably look at a T3i. That's an option. You also listed the Canon 70D. That's gonna be like $500 used. I don't think that's a great option. Yes, it has better autofocus. And yes, the image might be slightly better than a T3i or a T4i, but for your purposes, it's not gonna be a deal breaker. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference for you. And the autofocus is something that you're not gonna need, because if you're playing the drums, you don't wanna use the autofocus because it might focus on your face, and then sometimes it might focus on the drumstick and go in and out, and that's gonna look terrible. So just get your focus, lock it, and in that case, you don't need a 70D. So scratch that. What else you got here? Oh, I think I addressed all of them. I'm gonna make one other suggestion for you that you might want to check out, since you were talking about camcorders. Check out the Panasonic 7070, this Panasonic 770K. That camcorder can shoot up to 120 frames per second in 1080p. and it's about $600 new, which means used, I'm sure you can find it probably like 400 or something like that. Maybe even less. Probably not less. Maybe like 400, maybe around there. I think that would be a good camera for what you're trying to do. It comes with a lot of features, additional features as well, but for what you're trying to do, I think that will work well. So just check that one out too. And I think that's about it. I think that addresses everything. I know I didn't mention the battery life on a lot of those cameras, but almost all the cameras you put on your list have at least an hour and a half of battery life. So I think you're safe with the battery life on pretty much all of them, maybe except for the LX10. That's a really, really small point issue, so the battery life on that might not be as good as the DSLRs that you mentioned, and the mirrorless G7 that you mentioned. So, but other than that, man, yeah, you're getting good battery life on all this stuff. So I just say this in closing. Stay away from 1/4-inch sensors, stay away from 1/5-inch sensors. Those are not gonna work for you. So any camcorder that has that, just forget about it. You need at least a 1/2 inch. Preferably bigger, but I think you can get away with a 1/2 inch if it's a good solid camera. And I think the Panasonic that I mentioned and that AX33 that you were looking at are good, very good. So I think they would work. Anyway, I hope that helped you out. Links for all the stuff that we just discussed will be down below, so if you click on those, I'll get a small commission, which will help me create more videos for you guys, keep this channel going, and just show your support. And of course, I appreciate it. And if anybody knows someone who's facing a similar problem as Justin is facing, go ahead and share this video with them so they can see it and learn from it. And I want to thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon.